Right now, we're in the connection economy. Social media is a connecting tool that everything we're doing is all based on connection. And sharing your story and being vulnerable and being open is how you connect. And that's the only message I'm trying to say.
For me personally, this is a bit of a special one because when I was in year 9, year 10, you double as Vertex were people that I would legit be listening to on my Blackberry. You know, there was no Apple Music back then.
Yeah.
You'd be downloading Marvel FMs. Was it off the website? So I don't even know how.
Yeah, it was off. Oh, it was off the website because it wasn't on iTunes or.
Yeah.
It was downloaded off the website.
Yeah.
I remember the website used to crash.
It was like my favorite one. I think it was Marvel FM4, the one that started with London to Atlanta. Back to the point, you know, what really struck me the most was like, Shocka was talking about mental health.
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen?
Yeah.
What is happening right now? Because I was just a bit like, wow, in the grime scene, you don't really come across many rappers really talking about mental health or any of that. Like, what's your take on stuff like that?
I'm doing it for that reason. For the reason that I never had no one to look to when I was younger. If I had, and I hate saying names, but say someone like Kano was talking about depression or anxiety or bipolar or Wiley was talking about that, it could have gave me a little insight because like, I don't have older brothers and sisters, I'm an only child. So like, music became like my teacher. Do you know what I mean? I learned so much from rappers.
Yeah.
So I feel like artists are like fathers to some younger kids. Definitely for me, like Tupac and all these artists were like fathers for me. So I feel like if people mention mental health a bit more in their music, it probably could have gave me just a tiny insight of what I'm heading towards in my adult years. Because I felt like Marvel was a voice for like the young, when you was younger.
100%.
But then you grow up, like you said, you go uni and then it's like, who's the voice for that? And that's what I want to be now. I want to be like, I want all my Marvel supporters that was young to find me now, and then we can go into adulthood together. So like, you know how you came up to me and said, you know how we're sitting here now, and you're like, I used to listen to in year 9. I want someone to come up to me in my 40s and be like, I used to listen to you when I just got married, or when I was going through depression when I was 21, you helped me. Do you know what I mean? That's the next conversation I want to have later on. But yeah, back to your question, that's what inspired me to start telling my story.
If you talk more about mental health, what was your first experience with mental health, and what was it like?
My story was wild because I kind of jumped I jumped to like the extreme because you're meant to go through depression, or some people have anxiety and then it stops there. But I got sectioned.
Yeah. So
I went to the highest extreme of it. So I went through that's why I can talk to people all the time and they DM me, because I'm like, I've probably been through every phase you've been through. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing you're gonna say that's gonna surprise me. I've been through all the steps. But yeah, after the Marvel situation, let me just bring you back, because you probably didn't know what happened. Everyone was like, where did you lot disappear to? Like, you lot was doing so well, and then, yeah, so after Marvel broke up, officially broke up in like 2013 or 14. But things started getting rocky from like 2011, 2012. After we dropped We Know, do you remember the We Know song?
Yeah, We Know.
Yeah, after we dropped We Know, we got dropped from our label off the back of that, because that song didn't do well. And I know you remember the crazy video we had and the adverts everywhere, and so our label like on.
I was just about to say, like, for those that don't know, Drake's really endorsing that in UK culture right now. But he was chilling with you lot since way back.
Yeah.
If you look on any YouTube video right now, in the comments are like, yo, someone give Drake his UK
passport.
Like, he endorses a lot of people.
Yeah, he does.
Like, he loves the UK, but you lot were like literally one of the first. This is when Drake had no bitch.
I'm gonna tell him that when I see him. I'm gonna show him that. I'm like, do you remember this? He's gonna be like, oh shit. Because the reason why that's gonna be so special to him is because that was the first time he came to the UK. So he'll never forget that experience. Obviously he's been here like 50 times now, but that was the first time. And I remember the conversations we had with him. he went to the Ralph Lauren store in Oxford Street or wherever it was, and he was telling us how people wanted pictures of him, and like, he was so surprised that he had fans out here. He was talking like that, so it was that early. And I'm gonna remind him about all of that when I see him. So, but yeah, so after We Know came out, the single that the label put so much money into, it didn't do well. It didn't even get into the top 50. I think it went like 100 or 200. And the label was like, nah, fuck this, like, we don't want to work, we don't want to do this anymore, because I think they got scared and thought, what if we put more money in and it gets the same result again? So then they dropped us on the label. After that, like, we started from scratch. That's when he never saw us. Big up Skepta though, because Skepta brought us on tour with him. He's the only person that kind of gave us a bit of life to want to continue. He brought us on tour. We was with Preps and Conan on that tour, but they were like new energy. So we were like old energy a bit, and they was like the new energy. Like they were proper fired up. They had, do you remember Otis? Preps and Conan had Otis. Don't you remember that Otis? Where they were in the park with boxing gloves, and you don't remember that?
Otis,
yeah.
That blew up heavy.
Yeah, that blew up heavy. That's what I'm saying. They had that at that time. So like they were coming up, and then we were like the old energy, trying to like hang in there, and like, and then so after that I went into like deep depression, and then at the end of 2011, going into 2012, I got sectioned. I got put in a mental health hospital for the first time. I just had a big breakdown one day. Everything just, I felt like, how I like to explain it to people is like, our minds are like computers, yeah? With different programs in it. This is the best analogy I can use. Same way you've got this laptop with different programs in it. But if you overload it, what's gonna happen to it?
It's gonna crash.
It's gonna crash, and that's what happened to me. Like, my mind got overloaded with so much stuff, like, and it just crashed. But you know, this is the beauty of when it crashes. You can build it back up again. Do you know what I mean? You can delete everything and put on the new stuff and what you want to do. And that's the journey that I've been on now. Like, I've been on that journey for like, it's coming up to like nearly 10 years. I've been on that journey of just rebuilding myself. And I feel like it's the best journey I've been on because I've got the experience of the Marvel days. So it's like, I'm not new to the industry. I'm doing it my way this time. When you see me on my Instagram, I'm posting what I want. I'm not playing none of those games. Like, everything I'm doing, everyone I'm working with, everyone I'm like, for me to come here and do what you're doing, I've already seen to know that you represent what I represent and we're on the same page. So I'm making sure that everyone I'm aligned with and everything I'm doing is from my heart. And if I don't blow up, then it's not meant to be. And if I blow up, then it's meant to be. I stay true. But I'm not trying to bend my back and do any of that stuff. So I'm fully experienced and like ready.
I'll put your back on that.
No, when I said break my back, I'm fully experienced. I'm just like, I'm more comfortable and ready. But back to your question, that's when, that's how the mental health journey began.
So, as I was scrolling through Instagram, I feel like you're doing a lot with mental health and stuff right now. And one of the things I saw was you talk about your own experience with schizophrenia. Mm-hmm. So what was that journey like? You just touched on depression, but where does schizophrenia come in? And like, could you elaborate on that a little bit?
I've been sectioned 3 times, by the way. 2011 going to 2012, then a year later 2013, then 2016. The 3rd time I got sectioned was really bad. I went on holiday with my friend Magaluf. He just signed his record deal and he called me and he was like, yo, we're flying now. And I'm not gonna say no to that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say no to that. So I gave him my passport details. Before I know it anyway, I'm on a plane and we're going to Magaluf. Do you know what I mean? And then like, we had drinks and was partying. But each time, the last 2 times I got sectioned, there's a doctor that comes to my house that if you go through something like section, there's someone that comes to see you, like they'll come to your house, an intervention team to see you. One thing he used to always say to me is always take your medication. Like, he said, I know you're young, I know you feel embarrassed about taking your medication. And he was right, because I was embarrassed, because like amongst our younger generation, people look at medication as like it's frowned upon. Like, nah, don't take meds, man. They're trying to dumb me down, they're trying to that shit point. Do you know what I mean? Like, we look at it like, and I used to look at it that way too. And medication is frowned upon, so I felt embarrassed about taking meds and doing all of that stuff. So I wasn't taking it, and he was like, trust me on this one. You don't want to end up not taking it, you're gonna relapse again. long story short, went to Magaluf with my friend, started drinking. I'm not supposed to be drinking anyway. Started drinking alcohol, partying, and then I don't know what happened, but later on that night, I started hallucinating, because schizophrenia is like hearing voices, hallucinations. Like hallucinations is when, like, you know what hallucinations are, I'll just explain it to you. But like, I started hallucinating, like I was looking at a sign, like a sign through my balcony, and the sign was reading different. Like, I've never experienced anything like that. The sign was reading different, I was hearing different things. It was one of the most scariest experiences I've ever been through. And luckily, the balcony that I was on, that we were staying at, wasn't too high, because anything could have happened. I could have got so paranoid, I could have jumped, you know what I mean? Luckily, I kept my composure. And that went on from all the way from Magaluf, all the way back to London. I remember being on a plane, still in that phase. And then when I got home, when the Uber dropped us all home to our houses, I remember I missed my mum, and I was like, well, no one was in the house at the time when I got in. And I said, Mum, something's wrong. And she knew straight away. She said, I'm gonna send someone to the house, keep a composure. She sent someone to the house. They took me to the hospital, and then I got a section for the first time, and they diagnosed me with schizophrenia. But I didn't know much about schizophrenia. That was the first time me hearing it. So when you see me doing all these posts on my Instagram, it's me learning more about my diagnosis. That's what I love about social media. I've met so many other accounts that go through things in detail, and I'm like, oh, that's what that is. And that's what I had no idea, you know what I mean? Because one thing about mental health is like, it seems lonely because we don't speak about it, so you never know who's going through the same thing. But me getting all these people together, I'm realizing that while I was going through that situation, someone else in Birmingham or someone else in Manchester or someone else in Northwest is going through the exact same thing. And what social media has done is that it's connected us. Because I would have never been able to get through to that person in Birmingham to find out what they're going through. But because of social media now, I can see their page by accident. Like, oh shit, that's similar to mine. And it's giving me more of an insight of what I went through.
Yeah, so how important do you exactly think it is to be talking about these things to your friends and your family?
It's if we don't speak about it, we'll never know. We'll never know, do you know what I mean? Like, you can have something that's wrong with you now that I've got the answer to, but you don't know I've got the answer to because you haven't said it. Have you ever, it's like when you ask someone, I'm looking for an actress, and then you describe what kind of actress you're looking for, and they're like, oh, I got it. My friend can play that role. Do you know what I mean? And they just pass you on to what you need. But it's like, that's the same thing with mental health. You won't know until you say it, and then your friend or your sister will be like, oh, I've been through the same thing when I was 18. Like, I lost my first job and they'll share their story, and that's how we connect. Do you know what I mean? Like, right now we're in the connection economy. Social media is a connecting tool that everything we're doing is all based on connection. And sharing your story and being vulnerable and being open is how you connect. And that's the only message I'm trying to say, that vulnerability is key.
Man. That is really amazing. Let's go a bit back to like schizophrenia. You know, like you said that taking medication is really important.
100%.
Does it affect your day-to-day life? Just the schizophrenia, how does it affect your day-to-day life?
When I first got sectioned, the first 2 times, I was on like a heavy dosage. I think that's why people try to stay away from the medication, because they put you on like a crazy dosage. Yeah, man, you're basically like a zombie. That's what everyone's scared of. When they talk about medication, no, I don't want to be a zombie, and I mean, but that's just for the first period. Just that first period, just to get you back in routine and balance again. Then they'll reduce the doses. Like right now, I'm on like the lowest dosage. I'm basically on my way out of medication, and it's been a long time coming. But I think it's been a long time because I've been taking my time. I could have rushed to come off it, but like I'm kind of learning that. Everyone's different. Some people get sectioned and then spend time on medication for like 3 months and then they're off. Everyone's different. So you've got self-awareness is key. You've got to know how your body works and how your mind works and how you are. So
what would you say to other people going through the same thing you are right now?
I'll say connect with like-minded individuals, and you've got social media to do that.
Why is that important?
Because they're like-minded individuals. They're individuals that's just like you, so it makes you feel less lonely and more comfortable to want to speak more. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is a wild analysis, yeah. this is a wild analogy, but just put yourself in it. Yeah? If you went to, you're like, say like you was yellow, yeah, and you went to another planet, never been there before, you just got shot to another planet, and you walked into this room, yeah, and there was green, there was red, and there was yellow, yeah, and you're yellow. Who are you going to? Do you know what I mean? Like straight away, because it's like he probably understands me, and like that's the mistake we make with mental health. Is like we think we can speak about mental health to everyone and anyone, which I think it should get like that. That's the vision. I hope in the future you can turn to anyone like, yo, I'm feeling this way, and they'll understand. But at this early stages now, you need to turn to your tribe members. People that you've got a little incline that they've been through similar, and they'll be able to understand and guide you. There's not everything you can say to everyone. I've got friends I talk about women about, and I've got friends I wouldn't even mention it to because I know they won't understand. You know what I mean? So you've got to know. It's important to know who you're talking to. So someone that's going through what I've been through, I'll tell them to find someone like me. Find like real mental health advocates that you trust. Go through their page, take time, and so, I mean, you know the truth so when you hear it.
Speaking about mental health advocates,
yeah.
You are one yourself.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about that.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a mental health advocate, what do you exactly do and what do you stand
for? Basically, what I'm saying, like sharing my story, and like I've got this thing that I say, you meet 3 different versions of yourself on a day-to-day basis. I always say this, and I'm going to carry this to the day I leave Earth. So you meet the past version of yourself, which is a version that's like where you used to be. So someone that like is currently going through depression, where he was. Then you meet the present version of yourself, someone that's like on the same level as you. So all 3 of you are the present versions of each other. You're on the same level, you're striving for the same things. Then you meet the future version of yourself, someone that's like been there and done that. I'm the future version to the past version of someone else. So my job is just to put information out there for the past version of me. So someone that's currently in the place that I used to be, they're gonna stumble across my page and it's gonna be like a gold mine for them. It's gonna be like, oh my God, he talks, he gets it. Whereas my information is not for someone that's in the present. Do you know what I mean? Someone like us, we can speak like this, but what we're doing this for is for the past version. You don't really need it, do you know what I mean? So it's for the past version. So that's what I do as a mental health advocate, is to help someone that's in the place that I was in. I'm giving them all the keys and all the gems that I never had. I felt like if I stumbled across my Instagram page when I was going through what I was going through, there wouldn't have been no second relapse or third relapse. I would have been good. I would have known everything I needed to know.
Yeah.
So my job is just to prevent that for someone else.
We spoke about what you'd say to people who are in a similar situation to yourself. But let's say we've got people watching right now and it's the first time they're hearing about mental health or schizophrenia. What would you like to say to them? What would your advice or message be to people like that?
I'll say do your research. Everything's research driven nowadays, and we have no excuse. We have Google, we have Siri, so we have no excuse in this generation. Like literally, like the only excuse is just you being ignorant and not wanting to do the research yourself. But I'll say like research it. If you see someone speaking about something, just research it, and you'll find the answer. You'll find your answer, an answer that's suitable for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of mental health advocates out there, but not everyone's going to come to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's other people that's got 20,000 and 10,000. Do you know what I mean? People gravitate to different people. Like those other people in the grime scene, but you liked Marvel.
Yeah.
And Chip. And there's people that didn't like Marvel. They thought it was probably too animated and too colourful. Do you know what I mean? So you got to gravitate to what you gravitate towards.
So now we spoke about what you'd like to say to people going through the same situation as you, people that don't know much about this topic. What about, since you're from the music scene, is there any kind of message you'd like encourage within UK rap music or UK, just like UK culture?
I want people to say what they believe. I feel like everyone likes to say what's cool, but they don't like to say what they truly believe, what they're truly into. You know, sometimes you might have that weird series that you watch, do you know what I mean? That none of your friends know what I mean? But like, everyone's got those weird things we do, but I'm trying to say like, because we're in the connection economy, as I was saying to you, express that. You'll be so surprised at how much people want to hear that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I made a song called Self-Love, yeah? And like, obviously you probably heard the Self-Love song. And men don't speak about self-love. You rarely hear that from a male's perspective. But it meant something to me. I've really been on a self-love journey, so I expressed that. And now that song is like a big song in the mental health community. Do you know what I mean? So that means there was so much other people that was waiting to hear a male speak about that. And that's what I'm trying to encourage. I want people to speak about what they believe in. Not all of us, obviously we all love women, we all love clothes, we all love Dubai. But I mean, we're also going through real things too. Do you know what I mean? We've also got family members that might have cancer. Do you know what I mean? We've also, there's real things going on too. We have to balance it out. Not everyone can be partying 24/7. When we go back home, there's stuff going on. Do you know what I mean? Like there's people that's gay and they're scared to come out because, do you know what I mean? They might get ridiculed in society. Like there's so much stuff going on that we can be speaking about. That's why people say music's boring. I mean, that's why people say people speak about the same topics, and I understand it because there's no way we should be speaking about the same. There's too much things going on to just hear the same kind of topics on radio. That's what I want to bring. I want someone to hear my song on radio and be shocked and be like, wow, this is the breath of fresh air. Like when I made Single Mothers, I don't know if you heard that, but I got a song called Single Mothers and Robert Bruce played it on Capital Extra.
Yeah.
And I got a long message from this woman saying, when she heard that song on the radio, she was like, wow, like someone's speaking for me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I never thought I'd hear a song like Single Mothers, and I don't hear stuff from single mothers. I always hear like, F your baby mama, do you know what I mean? But when she heard that, she sent me a long message, and trust me, there's a world out there that's waiting to hear like what you truly believe in.